Dating has changed substantially in the last 15, 20 years, right? So a lot of these people that we're talking to have never seen online dating apps at all.
You need to get a couple of dates under your belt, see what's out there, just feel comfortable in your own skin again. But doing so, you have to be still choosy with who you decide to go on these dates with.
Because online dating is a great tool, but obviously not everyone wants to be online and to have their personal information out into the universe. Welcome to Date Like a Matchmaker, the podcast where love meets strategy and connections are made with a little bit of help from us. We're your hosts, Tiffany and Jorrie. Each week, we bring you fascinating stories from matchmakers, relationship experts, and couples who found love with a little bit of help. Whether you're single, in a relationship, or just curious about how matchmaking really works, this podcast is for you. We'll uncover the behind the scenes of the matchmaking process and share tips that could just change the way that you approach love. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about how you start dating after divorce. So what are just some tips for people to kind of get themselves back out there post-divorce?
So, the first thing that I would recommend someone doing after divorce, like if you've been married for even 4 years, 5 years, right? And then you're back into the dating scene, I would say educate yourself. Start following dating coaches, matchmakers on Instagram and TikTok, and start educating yourself on what goes on out there in the wild because it is
It
wild.
is wild.
It
The
is
wild,
wild.
wild west.
hmm Yeah, you have to. I would sit down and research all the, like if it's something where the person's going to go the dating app route and they want to sort of get their feet wet, I would sit down and research all the apps, the demographic on each app, and choose which one they think is going to be the best for them, depending on what they're looking for, their age, where they live, everything, right? Because different apps kind of cater to different things. There's one that's for 50 and older. There's the usual suspects like the Bumbles and the Hinge and that sort of a thing. And then learn how to utilize them because I think a lot of people do then go on the apps and then it's overwhelming and they don't really know how to use them, right? And so I would really educate yourself on like how each app works in terms of how you communicate. I know that some of them you can only have like conversations with maybe 8 people going at a time. So when someone's not responding to you, unmatch them so you can get someone else in your inbox, like things like that. So really understand how each app works and functions. But I would more so educate yourself on what to be aware of, like scammers and bots and, all of that jazz.
Yeah, I think that dating is certainly just wild in general these days. Also, people that have been married, whether you're married a short period of time, or I think we see a lot of people that were married for an extended period of time, sometimes 20, 30, 15 years, right? So they were with people for decades. And it's like there's two things. Number one, dating has changed substantially in the last 15, 20 years, right? So a lot of these people that we're talking to have never seen online dating apps at all. And so I agree, it's super important to educate yourself, but also figuring out like what it is that you truly want at this stage in your life, because what you wanted 15 years ago or 20 years ago is probably very different from what that person is looking for now. I'd imagine that dating post divorce is like the most exciting, but also terrifying thing that you could do. Like you're almost like antsy to see what else is out there. And then when you hop in, you're like, whoa, what is going on? Especially
Yeah.
online, because there's a lot of riffraff online, the
There's
bot.
a lot of riffraff. Yeah, there really is. Yeah, I think there's two types of people that start like online dating after being in a relationship or partnership for so long. I think there's the kid in the candy store type of approach you could take.
Yeah.
And then I think there's the one that you're gonna get like creeped out by the first weird message you get, and then you're like never gonna log into the app again for 4 more months because you're like recovering from that weird message.
Yeah.
So I think there's two types of ways to go about it.
I think at first, post divorce, you almost do need to be a little bit of a kid in the candy store. Like you almost have to just date around a little bit to figure out what it is that you like and don't like. And just to like get some dates under your belt, especially if it's been 10 years since you've been out on a first date, you probably need a little bit of practice Is that rude to
Yes.
say?
No, I agree with that. I think you need a little bit of practice, but I think you also have to beware of just going out just to go out and get practice because if you do that, you're going to get burnt out and then it's just going to be overwhelming and you're not going to want to date at all anymore. And then you're going to go off the apps for like 3 months because you're trying to recover. So I think, yes, you need to like get a couple of dates under your belt, see what's out there, like just feel comfortable in your own skin again. But doing so, you have to be still choosy with who you decide to go on these dates with.
Yeah, too much of the candy store. Okay, it almost turns into a lifestyle for some people. I have seen a lot of people where they've been single for so long, they've been dating for so long that that's just what they do. They just go out on first and second dates, and that's it. And even though they claim to want a relationship, um, it just becomes a lifestyle for them. Before I started working for myself, I was working for a very large company, and I had this client who he had been out on probably, I don't know, 120 dates over the course of the last 10 to 15 years. And that just was his lifestyle. Every time his contract was up, he just renewed his contract and we would just continue to send him out on first dates. And he was going out with great women and he was meeting just amazing women. And the women enjoyed him too. But that for him, even though he told us that he was looking for a long-term relationship, after 10 years of working with someone, you you clearly know, after 120 women that you've met, surely there was actual real connection with at least a few of them, right?
It's very interesting. I remember seeing that a couple times too when we were working for the big national company. And they were perfectly normal guys. You're
Yeah.
right. Everybody liked them. And it was never the women, right? Like I can't recall any women that went out on that many dates. It was mostly the men, but yes, they had gone out, some of them over 100 times
Yeah.
with great women, gave them all good feedback.
Yeah. Never a lick
Never
of
really
bad
went on
feedback
any,
either.
yeah, never really went on any second dates though. Never really pursued anyone. So yeah, maybe for some people it does just become a lifestyle at a certain point.
Yeah, which is so odd. So you have to make sure that you don't get in the habit of cultivating that experience for yourself, right? Like you have to steer clear of that. But I do think that there is some level of just kind of getting your feet wet and meeting some new people and saying, okay, I really like this about this person. Saying yes to maybe people that you're not traditionally attracted to or that are maybe slightly outside of, your parameters of what you think that you want to date or would usually date and seeing really what works and what doesn't and then getting like super laser focused and being very, very intentional when it feels like the right time. Um, and being mindful of the other person's experience on the other end too, and just being very upfront and honest about if you're not like if you are looking to date around, I do think that going into dates that some people should know that ahead of time. But then
How
also
many? Oh,
also
go
I
ahead.
think that sometimes you meet someone and you think that you want to date around and then that person ends up your person. So there's two sides of it.
Yeah, that happens too. In your opinion, how many dates does it take to sort of get warmed up? How many practice dates should someone have before they really start honing in on only going out with people that fit all of their parameters?
This could vary person to person, but I think 6 to 8 is probably a good number.
Yeah, I was going to say about five.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, just to like experiment a little bit, try
Yeah.
something new out, see if how it feels.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe kiss a few frogs. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's I had some guy on my Instagram this last week message me and he said he would never see a woman again if she didn't kiss him on the first date. First of all, that mindset is disgusting. But second of all, there's not a lot of women that are genuinely serious about finding a lifelong partner. Now, if she wants to just sleep around, by all means, she'll absolutely kiss you and probably sleep with you on the first date. It goes for male men and women. But a woman who is serious about finding a partner is probably not kissing you after the first hour. right?
I mean, that guy's a knucklehead. He's a knucklehead because some women, it takes them 2 to 3 dates to even feel like they want to kiss you. I know I've been in that position before. I went on a date with someone and I was like, I thought he was atrocious on the first date. And then I went on 2 more dates with him and I was like, oh my God, I'm in love.
See, people have the ability to grow on you over time.
100%. So this guy is a silly goose. You should tell him that sometimes it takes women longer to feel any sort of romantic desire for someone.
Listen, you can only help people so much. And if a man came to me that was trying to be my client and told me that, I would send him to a dating coach or
Mm,
therapy because he needs to learn some
yeah.
manners.
Yeah.
And just learn, not even manners, but just needs to learn more about the modern dating world and how women think and feel and in general
How
before he
how old do you think that guy is?
probably he's young, probably 32.
Mm. Okay, well that explains it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He just doesn't know women yet.
Clearly, clearly. Um, let's tell the divorcees other ways that they can meet some people post-divorce outside of online dating, because online dating is a great tool. But obviously, not everyone wants to be online and to have their personal information out into the universe. So if you were post-divorce, where would you go? What would you do?
If I was post-divorce without doing online dating,
Right.
okay. If I was post-divorce and I was not going to online date, what I would do is I would join different groups. I would go on meetup.com and I would find something that I'm interested in. There are cooking clubs, there are chess clubs, there are, owners of Chihuahua dog meetups. There's anything you could ever imagine. And that is what I would do. And you will meet wonderful people there. It'll put you, you won't be alone. So it's like a safe way to meet people. So that's the first thing I would do. Okay, and then what I would do, which I know is a little bit more, takes a little bit more courage, is I would do some speed dating.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I would go to like singles mixers and I would do a little bit of speed dating and bring a friend if you don't have the courage to go alone. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I think just getting involved in your community any which way that you can, whether it's volunteer work. I think Meetup is a great avenue. They have a lot of paid options and free options. Eventbrite is also another great just avenue for tons of different events. It doesn't even have to be some like new experience either. It could be something that you already know that you enjoy, or something that you are interested in trying, or even something that you're really good at already. Anything that will attract just new people. You don't even have to go to these events with the hopes of, picking up a date, right? You can go just purely to meet people. I also think that this sounds so cheesy, but teaching yourself and becoming more comfortable with just talking to people. I don't care if it's at a restaurant or at the gym, or I don't care if it's male, female, another couple, like anywhere you go, people need to get their phones away from their face. And just say hi to people and start sparking up like natural conversation, because you never know. You sit down at the bar, to have lunch by yourself while you're on lunch at work, and you spark up a conversation with the couple sitting next to you. And next thing you know, you're invited to their barbecue, and then you meet Sally Sue at the barbecue. Like you just never know who you're going to meet, but you can't have these run-ins if you don't just start saying hello to strangers. And
Hmm.
it's scary, but
It is scary, but it's like it's strengthening your social muscle.
yes,
Hmm.
the more you grow your social circle, the higher chance that you're going to have of meeting people.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Um, you could also I know there's another matchmaker that she suggests reaching out to married friends and saying, does your husband have any single friends that you could introduce me to or have us over for dinner at your house or whatever it may be. So I think that's a really good idea too. Or even just joining groups that are all women or men, just people of the same gender as yourself, making friends, and then those people introducing you to their friends.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of big cities also have like social sports leagues. Austin, for example, they do Austin Sports and Social, and you can choose to be on an all, I think you can choose to be on an all female or on all male team. But you can also do like a co-ed kickball team or softball team or like anything that, yeah, really just increases your social circle. But also, a lot of singles do things like that because they just want to meet more people.
Yeah. We have a client who joined a yacht club, and I
Yeah.
think that's such a great idea. She, I think, met a few new friends at her yacht club that maybe have introduced her to people, but you could join a yacht club, join a sailing group, anything to expand.
Yeah, there's lots and lots of ways to get involved. Church groups, literally, like it could be anything. It could be roller skating. It could be like it could be literally anything. Just
Hmm.
force yourself to put events on your calendar that are a little bit outside of your comfort zone. It could be a networking event. It could be like, quite frankly, anything, but you need at least one event, I say every other week, if not
Hmm.
often, that kind of puts you out of your comfort zone and in front of people that you don't know.
What I also thought was really interesting that I've seen lately, I've seen ads for them, are these travel groups. So if you're a single, there are these particular companies and organizations that arrange travel just for singles. So it might be people from other states and other parts of the world, but who cares? And then you like go
Yeah,
on these amazing adventures and these cool trips with just a group of other single people that are probably going to be in your socioeconomic
right.
sort of what
Class.
level? It's probably going to be in your socioeconomic level because they also are going on these trips and can afford it just like you can.
Yeah, absolutely. The lady that I just did an interview with at 2 o'clock, so 2 hours ago, she is in an individual travel group and they
Mm.
travel, they just meet there, but then they all travel together once they're there. And obviously, there's tons of different reasons for it, right? Like safety or going into cultures that you don't know, blah, blah, blah. But you're bound to meet other singles. Also, like retreats that are catered specifically to singles. And it doesn't even have to be a retreat for like male and female if you're uncomfortable, going on vacation with a group of men and women, but go on a singles retreat for all women. Meet some new girlfriends. You never know who they know, like
Mm.
anything.
Another idea too, and I don't know, this probably varies by city, but I know in Texas and Houston in particular, they have a really active Facebook group. It's called like Woodland Singles or something like that. But it's active and they have like bonfire events all the time. And they always go to this one bar called Rowdy's or whatever it is. And people post like photos of themselves and like little intros. So I mean it sounds kind of cheesy, but I guarantee you people make connections on there all the time.
Sounds thirsty.
It's yeah, I mean there are some thirsty people on there, but you never know. And when it comes to dating, I think you have to look at it almost like sales and prospecting. Like
Yeah,
it's just comes down to a numbers thing and putting yourself out there. And sometimes it's going to be a bust, but sometimes you're going to get lucky.
that's right. That's right. I absolutely agree. The more people you meet, the more you extend your social spider web, the higher chance that you're going to have of meeting someone great
Your social spider web, totally.
like this.
Did you make that up?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
it's good.
Okay.
Thank you for listening. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on our social media. You can find us on Instagram at Executive Connections Dating. You can also find our podcast Instagram at Date Like a Matchmaker. There's a link in our bio to fill out a free profile and be considered as a match for one of our clients.
See you next time.